Issued. I remember staring at it in disbelief as my golden retriever, Max, wagged his tail beside me, completely unaware that he had just become the target of an HOA war. The letter claimed that my dog's excessive barking had disrupted the peace of the community. It warned that if the problem continued, I'd face daily fines and eventually removal of the pet from the property. The signature at the bottom was from none other than Linda Patterson, our HOA president, and a woman known for her obsession with control and her talent for turning neighborly living into a dictatorship. At first I thought it must have been a mistake. Max wasn't a loud dog. He barked when delivery drivers approached or when squirrels invaded his yard, but that was normal. Still, I decided to check in with my nearby neighbors. Most of them laughed when I mentioned the complaint. They hadn't heard a thing. Some even whispered that Linda herself had been making complaints about everyone recently, and from someone's trash bins being visible to another, homeowner's porch light being too bright.
She ran the neighborhood like a general, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on, always looking for something to correct. Figured the best course of action was to keep calm, follow the rules, and maybe this would blow over. But I was wrong. A week later, I received a second violation letter, this time with photos attached, grainy, low-quality images of Max sitting in the backyard, supposedly barking. The timestamps didn't even make sense. One photo was taken at midnight, another early morning when Max was sleeping inside. The message was clear. Someone was watching my home, looking for reasons to penalize me. That night I sat on my porch, sipping coffee and watched the streetlights flicker. I noticed Linda walking by slowly, her flashlight aimed suspiciously toward my yard. She didn't see me sitting in the dark. She paused, scribbled something in her little notebook, then walked off. Something inside me shifted at that moment. This wasn't about noise. This was personal. The next day, I decided to document everything. I set up a camera facing the backyard, installed an audio monitor, and saved every notice, every letter, every timestamp. If Linda wanted a war, I was going to fight it the smart way, with evidence. Over the next few days, Max was unusually quiet. I checked the recordings each night and found nothing. Not a single bark long enough to disturb anyone, yet the letters kept coming. It was as if the HOA had decided that Max was guilty no matter what. Then came the kicker, a final notice stating that if Max wasn't removed from the property within 7 days, I would be fined $500 for every additional day he remained. That's when I knew I had to dig deeper. I began researching HOA bylaws, reading every rule line by line. I wanted to find something, anything, that could expose this nonsense. But while scrolling through the HOA's online directory, something caught my eye. Linda's name appeared at the top, of course. But when I clicked on her listed property details, there was nothing. No deed record, no ownership listing, nothing connected to her name in the county database. At first I thought it was a clerical error, but the more I searched, the stranger it got. Every homeowner had clear, traceable records, except her. That night I sat staring at my computer screen, my heart racing. Could it be that the HOA president herself wasn't even a legal homeowner? It was a wild thought, but it made perfect sense. She acted untouchable, as if she had power no one could challenge. But what if that power was built on a lie? I decided right then I was going to find out the truth about Linda Patterson. And this time, Max wouldn't be the one paying the price. His words were brief but explosive. He confirmed that he still owned the property at Linda's address. He had never sold it, rented it, or transferred any rights. According to him, the woman living there, Linda Patterson, was supposed to be house-sitting temporarily while he was away caring for an ill family member years ago. When he tried to return, she refused to answer calls, ignored letters, and eventually changed the locks. In short, Linda had taken over his house. Henry explained that he had tried to start eviction proceedings years earlier, but moved out of state, permanently due to health issues. He didn't have the time or money to fight the battle long distance. Eventually, he gave up, and Linda stayed, living rent-free, pretending she owned the place. But what truly shocked me was his final paragraph. Apparently, Linda had used Henry's old HOA credentials to re-register herself as the president. Since Henry had once been a legitimate board member, the HOA's outdated paperwork made it possible for her to slip through unnoticed. When the board changed members, she simply continued to sign off as acting president. No one questioned her authority. For years, she'd been ruling the community on a false identity, issuing fines, collecting fees, and intimidating anyone who resisted. I sat back in disbelief. This wasn't just a petty neighborhood problem. This was full-blown fraud. I quickly printed Henry's email, along with the property ownership records and every piece of evidence I'd collected. My plan was simple: expose her to the entire HOA board at the next monthly meeting. But I had to move carefully. If Linda realized I had this information, she'd retaliate before I could act. So, for the next few days, I kept up appearances. I smiled politely when I saw her patrolling the neighborhood, waved at her when she drove by, and even responded to one of her violation letters with a fake apology. I wanted her to think she had me beaten. One had been fined for unapproved window decorations. Another was charged hundreds for unauthorized garden lights. They all had stories of Linda's bullying. And when I showed them my findings, their shock quickly turned into fury. We decided to act together. Our plan was to attend the upcoming HOA meeting and confront her with proof in front of the entire community. The night before the meeting, something strange happened. Around 2 a.m., I heard noises outside, footsteps near my porch. I peeked through the blinds and saw a shadowy figure crouching near my mailbox. When I stepped outside with a flashlight, I caught a glimpse of Linda's floral robe disappearing into the dark. She had been snooping again. The next morning, I found my mailbox wide open, papers scattered on the ground. Luckily, I kept all the important evidence locked inside my house, but that incident confirmed it. She knew I was up to something. Later that day, I received an email from the HOA's official account announcing that the monthly meeting had been postponed indefinitely due to scheduling conflicts. It didn't take a genius to figure out who had canceled it. She was trying to buy time. That's when I realized I couldn't rely on the HOA's internal system anymore. Linda controlled everything: the board, the email lists, even the neighborhood website. If I wanted justice, I'd have to take it outside the HOA. So I gathered my documents and drove straight to the county records office. I showed them everything: the property ownership files, the letters, video proof of Linda harassing residents, and the confirmation email from Henry Wallace himself. The officer on duty looked stunned. He told me this wasn't just an HOA issue. It could involve multiple legal violations, fraud, identity misuse, and illegal occupancy. He promised to forward the information to the Housing and Property Fraud Division. For the first time in months, I felt hope. But I didn't stop there. That evening, I contacted a local journalist who specialized in community corruption stories. After hearing the outline, she was immediately interested. She asked for copies of my evidence and hinted that this could turn into a televised report if confirmed. I knew that once the story broke, Linda's empire of intimidation would crumble. Over the next few days, the tension in the neighborhood was thick enough to touch. People were whispering about strange official cars seen near Linda's house. She seemed more paranoid than ever, pacing outside with her phone, snapping pictures.
People started greeting each other again. But there was no proof it was her. Still, I knew better. Linda wasn't the type to admit defeat. Then one night, just after midnight, my cameras picked up motion in the driveway. A shadow approached, short, hunched, and unmistakably familiar. Linda, she was back. By the time I reached the door, she was already halfway down the street, tossing what looked like envelopes into several mailboxes. The next morning, everyone in the neighborhood was saying a stack of flyers claiming Linda was framed and that the truth about the HOA scandal had been hidden. Her desperation had turned into delusion instead of silencing me. They came together furious. For the first time, they saw the full extent of her finally free from years of intimidation. A few months later, a new HOA was formed. But this time, things were different. Transparency replaced fear. Every rule, every decision was voted on openly, and for the first time in years, people trusted the system that governed their homes.
A journalist who had covered the original investigation. A few weeks later, a segment aired on local television titled, "The Fake President, How One Woman Controlled an Entire Neighborhood She Didn't Even Own." The story exploded online. It went viral within days, shared by HOA and Karen Drama YouTube channels across the internet. Viewers couldn't believe it was real, but it was. Every word, every image, every barking dog in the background. Linda's name became synonymous with the ultimate HOA downfall. And me, I didn't seek revenge anymore. I didn't need to. Watching the truth expose itself was satisfaction enough. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud, it's quiet. It's a peaceful morning with no more warning letters, no more fake fines, and no more fear. I often sit on my porch now, coffee in hand, Max curled beside me, watching the sun rise over the neighborhood. The same street once ruled by fear now echoes with laughter, sprinklers,